I just spilled all over myself. Oh man, that's the way to start it off. Oh my gosh, Janet Kane, I even tried to do a minute early so I could beat you, and I still didn't beat you. Good morning, Janet Kane from Galena. I'm so glad that you're still watching while you're traveling, and sorry for just spilling all over myself. Tom Servo says hello. I thought it would be nice to have a partner in crime on this Saturday, the 21st of Veda. Janet Kane, thanks so much for coming and hanging out. And thanks to everybody who's watching live or post live. I mean, it's live for you. Time is weird. Okay, let's get into this right away. Writing prompts, holy cat. So by the end of this video, I'm gonna give you a writing prompt. We're gonna write together. We're gonna explore the possibilities of journaling and self-care and comedy. Most of us here that are watching are also performers. So now you're all caught up if you're new. Are you caught up, Tom Servo? He says yes. Okay, so yesterday's writing prompt really, such a slob, got me thinking. So yesterday's writing prompt, if you don't know, check out that video. It's in the description box below, but it was like basically be a bad teacher. You had a bad day, and so you kind of tell all of your students something, some bad advice, right? And I found that what I was writing was basically hopelessness. It was like, give up, don't do it. All these students, I was telling them like, you have nothing to say, everything's been done before, and it was just all my insecurities coming out. And I was getting so angry. One, because I've had these teachers, and I know like Jennifer has sent messages either, you know, about like terrible teachers that she's had in the past. And I think a lot of us, especially creatively, have, whether it's parents or teachers or people who may be trying to protect us or maybe have been like disappointed, have really shaped how we view creativity. And all that kind of got sparked yesterday. And I was like, ah! And one of the things that I like to do with Kate's University is to not be that teacher, to not have that sort of bitterness, sort of disappointment with my own moments in my, whether it's stand-up comedy or just creative life in general, be, you know, projected onto the next generation or whoever is taking my class. You know, I feel like that is a really, how does that help? How does that help anyone? So yesterday's writing prompt was really good. It got into a lot of the good feels, and it also made me pretty angry. Shocker, that's my go-to emotion. Janet Kane says, it was weird fun in a mean way. Yes, give up, don't support each other. Can be your cute little thing. Yeah, isn't that funny that we go to, that's where we go to, you know, is like a mean-spirited teacher. And I think we can access it pretty easily because we've experienced it, right? So Janet Kane, I'm glad that you found the exercise weird, fun, and a little mean as well. Because let's talk about it, like that transition between mean and anger. Because I can easily go to anger. It's just something in my blood. But I feel like teaching a lot of all-female storytelling in stand-up classes, I am finding that women, a lot of women are very uncomfortable going into anger. And not of like a fault of their own, but we have been sort of programmed to not be angry, to be polite, to not take up space, all of those things. So it's very uncomfortable to be publicly angry. And I think we do, in classes, we do rants. So we rant about something, and we kind of try to go to the top of the anger emotion in class, and a lot of people can't do it. And I just kind of want to talk about anger really quickly in our writing process because one, it was sparked me yesterday. Two, I know that it's a thing that happens with Kate's University. And three, I was on the internet yesterday, and a lot of people are angry about the new Amy Schumer movie, I Feel Pretty. And I'm never going to take anybody's feelings away. Everybody has a right to be angry, right? But because of those three things, it kind of sparked the question in me is like, how are we using our anger as fuel to move forward and to make change? Or are we using anger to eat away at us, to shoot out kind of everywhere, or to make us bitter inside? You know, it's just kind of questions of like, as a creative person, you're gonna have positive and negative emotions, which I know we've talked about a lot on this channel, but how are you gonna use those? And specifically anger, because I think anger is a strong feeling. How are you going to use it to sort of move you forward? And I found it interesting. A lot of people that I know, a lot of people that are close to me are sort of raging on social media about I Feel Pretty before they've even seen it. And so is a lot of the world. And I find it interesting where the anger is going from because I understand being disappointed, being frustrated, but I just find it interesting that that's where people are fueling their anger. Again, I'm not going to judge anybody for being angry. You feel your feelings, but I just find it interesting of where they're putting the anger. And maybe also as a creative person, I'm watching another comedian try to do something in the world and have such a negative reaction. It's a strange lesson for me. I think what it's teaching us when we like put our anger towards other people's creativity. Listen, I'm gonna say this again so people don't get like mad at me on the internet. If you have a right to feel your feelings, you of course have a right to express them. But I find it interesting that where you're expressing it and how that it's, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. As a fellow person who wants to make film, wants to make creativity, wants to use humor, as a woman, I feel like a lot of women are still being attacked when they're trying. Now, maybe they are failing. Maybe their message isn't great. Maybe it whatever. But like you see it again and again with women in comedy. There's like this standard that people just tear them apart. Other women are very angry at other women in comedy. And as somebody who's trying to raise other women's voices, it's scary to kind of watch. And I think anger is valid. I just think it's interesting to see where people are putting their anger. And I want to put my anger towards creating something, towards creating something positive. But I see somebody else, Amy Schumer, for example, just in this one example, trying to do this and getting torn apart for it. It's this crazy, weird cycle of anger, and where do you put it, and how does it fuel creativity instead of tearing other things down? I just thought it was interesting, and I think it just, everything kind of happened at the same time, you know, like that writing prompt happened, and then I was talking about other Cates University gals about anger, which I do in class, but also outside of class, and then this Amy Schumer thing happened, and I was like, whoa! There's so much anger, woo! So today's writing prompt, I just thought it was interesting. Today's writing prompt, we're gonna go away from that feeling of anger, I think, and here, yeah, oh, Janet Kane is like, totally interesting. We'll check out the movie as homework. I give no homework. Just kidding. We have homework every day. Yeah, I'm going to check out the movie too, because here's the thing. I think, obviously, pop culture and storytelling is a part of everybody's sort of existence. And I think you have 100% a right to have an opinion about it. 100% right to give notes. 100%, but I think you have to see the movie first. I guess that was one of my like, about yesterday. And it happens all the time. People see a preview or people like read an article about it and they already jump to conclusions before they actually see it. Now those conclusions may be 100% correct, but I think seeing something, filtering it through your own experience, and then getting angry about it, that's what I'm talking about. So Janet Kane, I'm glad that you're like, I got homework to do, because I think we all need to have all the information before we make a bold statement. Any snooze, let's go through this. So, writing prompt for the day, again, I'll put it in the description box below. Through a freak illness, you lose one of your senses. Which sense is it? What happens to you, and how do you deal with it? I feel like this was a little like, what is your super secret power? Or superpower is what I was trying to say. I love that idea of like having a loss, but then using that to like, you know, a phoenix rise from the ashes. I don't know, I thought this was kind of positive, even though now I'm reading it, it seems kind of depressing. Okay, but let's get into it one more time. Through a freak illness, you lose one of your senses, just one. Taste, touch, sight, smell, whatever. Which sense is it? What happens to you? And how do you deal with it? Ooh, so Janet Kane, you have 2 homework assignments. Watch the movie and do that. So you guys also just want to give a huge shout out. We're on day 21. We are so close to the end of the month. Tom Servo's excited. I feel like his little hands are dancing. Speaking of tiny hands, yes, I also have tiny hands. I know. I know. We're not all monsters like Donald Trump. But yes, I do have tiny hands. Okay, one day I'll write about my tiny hands. But enough of that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll be back here Sunday at 8 a.m. Janet Kane, have a great time in Galena. And for anybody else who's watching, smooches, good luck with your to-do list, crush it, or take a nap. That's my philosophy. Okay, bye.